Because of the new copper rules, I will be putting this disclaimer up on every video from now on. As you can clearly see, this video may contain very strong language, scenes of violence and flashing images which are not suitable for children. Viewer discretion is advised. You have been warned.
G'day ladies and gents, and welcome to my fourth attempt at recording the audio for this game because things just keep going wrong, or I just keep saying the wrong thing. This is the F86-F2 Saber. Once upon a time, many would have told you that this was the best plane in the game, many others would have told you it was the MiG-15 BIS, then the CL-13A came along and kind of said, fuck you all, I am the best, and no one ever really questioned it. And kind of for all that reason, I didn't play too much of the Saber, or any of the Sabers, because there always seemed like there's better aircraft available, and then of course the F100 was released, and that's what I really wanted. And I love the F100 to bits. I love it a little bit too much because I got the F100, got the F4 Phantom, and neglected what is arguably in the hands of a skilled player still one of the best planes in the game. I am of course referring to this beautiful little machine right here. It was always back in the day you'd see the truly good YouTubers playing aircraft like this. I'm talking about the Orange Doom, Delphine, Spitfire, Whoop-de-Doo. These guys, not even so much back in the day, even still now, when these guys go out in these planes and you see a video, oh, you know you're in for a treat. You know you're going to get some insane trick shots and just stunning aerobatics because these guys have put the work in, they've put the time in, they've put the effort in, and they have learnt their way around these planes and they know exactly what they're doing. And recently, I've been trying to spend more and more time in the F2 Saber because I will never ever be at the point those guys are at, where I can just go into a game and I know exactly 100% what I need to do to control the engagement. I mean, I don't feel like... This is really hard. This is a segment of the video I keep struggling with because I really struggle to talk about this without sounding like a right twat, or without sounding like an egotistical maniac, so I'm just going to give up and just kind of go for it and then apologise. War Thunder, I would say, is probably one of the few games that I play, probably even the only game that I play, and I am referring specifically to air battles here, I need to mention that, where I would actually say, no, in this game I kind of know what I'm doing. I feel like this is the only game, especially ARB, or only ARB as I said. I am not an average player. I know what I'm doing. I am not an amazing player. I'd argue I'm a good player, not a great player. But I can hold my own in most planes against most players. And I don't feel like that's an incorrect statement. And I don't think that makes me sound like too much of an egotistical prick, because there are plenty of players out there who will absolutely wipe the floor with me. And any of you guys who have followed me on my streams have seen me get my arse handed to me, sometimes by myself when I rip my own wings off. And right here, I'm about to do something which looks kind of silly, but this goes back to something I said on the I've said a few times before. Don't ever force head-ons unless you know what you're doing. I'm gonna force a head on the MiG-17 because I have very high velocity 20 mils, and I know I can make that shot, and I trusted, because I spent a lot of time in the MiG-17, that his shells would be way too slow, that I'd have enough time to get out of the way. It's still a risk. It's a big risk. I would advise you not to ever really push ahead on unless you have to. But there are some situations where it can give you that little edge. And killing a MiG-17 at the start of a round is always a good thing. Now, Voltors. Like, it's a premium Voltor. The guy probably isn't an amazing player. I haven't checked his stats, so I hope I'm not insulting him. He's managed to pick up a Super Mystère, and what he needs to do is extend away, because in a transonic match, or sorry, a 9.0 match or a 9.3 match, the Voltor is the fastest plane in the game, as long as you aren't running into supersonics. As far as I know, I think maybe the CL-13 might be able to catch it, but I doubt it somehow. But nope, he decides to try and outturn the Super Mystère, probably because he's right on top of him. It may have been the right thing to do, but it's one of those things, I guess. What is definitely not the right thing to do is to go into a vertical and stall out when there's an F2 Saber in the ring. So that's going to be kill number 2. F86-F5 is trying to force a head-on with everyone. Super Mystère fires the rocket and misses. I fire a shot at the A5 as he flies past me. He pays no attention to me, forces another head-on. I get hit, and that's an MD452, we'll talk about him in a second. The A5 goes into the vertical against an F2 Saber who has more energy than he does, and I'm in a very similar plane. So that's kill number 3. And inadvertently bait for the MD452, who was trying to run me down, and really that is where I should have died. That's where my awareness went to shit. That's probably the only mistake I ever really made in this game. I feel like going heads up with the MiG-17, I was like, no, I know that plane inside and out because I ground it out like a lunatic to get to the MiG-19. I know what that plane can and cannot do. I know when it seizes up, I know how poor its guns can be in a head-on engagement, and I trusted that the F2 was dangerous, was able to handle that head-on. But that vertical there probably should have been the death of me. However, this J-29D is low, he is slow, there's not much he can do. I missed my first shot and I clip him with the second one, and I put the extra rounds in him there, which I didn't need to do, simply to secure the kill. I didn't really look around me and see if there was any teammates nearby, I just wanted that kill, and I figured if I kill this guy, I've killed 4 enemy planes, I've done my bit for this match. If I run out of ammo, you know, so be it. However, the game's not quite over yet. The Voltor 2 goes down, there's an F86-F coming in, and we're going to see if we can chase him up. He rolls over. He's trying to get that MiG-17. The enemy team's doomed at this point. They have lost. Saber's low and slow. I potato my aim like there's no tomorrow. That was abysmal shooting, and now I'm down to just 24 rounds per, well, over 2 guns. Yeah, well, 48 rounds over the 4 guns. Take a shot at the F-35. He realises I'm here finally. Roll over, but I'm just low and slow enough. Air brakes out. Kill number 5. That's an ace. That's my first ace in the F2. That's my first ace in a Saber. Pull a beautiful reverse on the F2, and then he rips his wings off because he's probably using boosters. I have learned that the hard way, and I feel for that guy because I have done that so many times recently until I eventually gave up and said, no, screw it, I'm going to learn how to defensive fly in this thing properly and, you know, learn how to use my air brakes and my throttle control, and I took the boosters off, which is inadvertently why he died and I survived right there. F86-F2, probably the most dangerous Saber in the game right now. Well, I say that's probably between this and the CL-13B. But I've only got 4 shells. Oh no. And the SF-40 pilot definitely seems to know what he's doing. He's pulling all those right reversals, all those right maneuvers, but I managed to get up above him because I've got just enough energy to do this. Sabers, for the record, guys, do not perform well at low speeds. You want to beat it, so you can get away with it if you're up against another Saber, but I wouldn't be doing this against a MiG, put it that way. I would probably not survive the engagement. The F-40 forced to head on because he doesn't have many options. I fire my 4 shells and I crit his plane. I actually damaged his tail there. And it's unfortunately for me, it's going to be where my game ends. The F-40 goes on to get shot down. He's going to get mobbed to death by the F-25 and MiG-17. There's also an A5 Saber enemy team who's going to get shot down over their runway. I, however, am out of ammunition, sustained some light damage, and I want to repair my plane. This, however, was, as I said, my first ace in the F2 Saber. For the longest time, War Thunder, I don't know what it is. Well, I do know exactly what it is about War Thunder. War Thunder is probably one of my favourite games ever made. There's no other game that kind of gives me a chance to really just nerd out over a subject that I love and take control in a semi-realistic environment and have, you know, semi-accurate performing flight models of beautiful aircraft from such a wide area of time. I just love this game, and because I love it so much, I'm determined to be constantly trying to improve myself. It can be hard sometimes, but every time I die, every time I do something wrong, I try and look at what exactly did I do wrong? How can I correct that? So in this match, the thing I did wrong was my awareness went to shit, and I let the MD-452 get his shots on me. And I say that and even though I survived that engagement because the MD was not able to keep up with me, he could have gotten a lucky shot off. Or if I'd have at least known he was there, then I could have maintained my fight against the A5 more easily and with a bit more confidence, knowing that I was going to outperform the MD. But the point is, I didn't know he was there. And that's the one mistake I feel like I made this game, other than a bit of potato aim, but that happens. There's so many factors going into every engagement sometimes. But the reason why I'm leaving this video running for the next few minutes is so that I can really just talk about something my dad told me once. And he's definitely not the person who originally said this. This quote's been thrown around by so many people, but coming from him, it really made me listen to it and actually appreciate it. If you want something bad enough, then you'll get it. doesn't matter if that's a job, it doesn't matter if that's a woman or a man, you know, we don't judge here. Or a Twitch channel, I guess. Or maybe you just want to be good at a video game. I've got a lot of things that I want to do, but improving my play of this game that I love is definitely one of them. For the longest time, I looked up to YouTubers, and still do, just to clarify, but I still do look up to people like Whoop-De-Doo, or the Orange Doom, like Deathine, like Spitfire. And every time they put one of their videos, I try to learn from it, and I try to base some of my content off of them. I'm nowhere near that sort of level. I'm not. As I said at the beginning of this video, I put myself above average, but I'm not an amazing player by any stretch. I have a massive amount to learn. But in this game, I felt like all of that effort, all of that practice, all of the times that I rolled my saber at high speed and tried to reverse someone and rip my wings off, or just kind of flew into the next guy's guns, it all just came together in this game. And I felt like, no, this match I actually felt like, you know what? I felt like I knew what I was doing in the F2 Saber. And for the most part, I did. I made one mistake, I got away with it. And even if I had been killed by the MD, I'd have still come out of this match with 3 kills, which is not a bad thing. A lot of these kills were easy. A lot of them were against low energy opponents, and yeah, you could argue that that means that there was less skill involved, but I would also argue, well, no, because I was in the position to kill them. I put myself in that position, kept my energy higher than theirs, put myself in a place where they couldn't do anything about me. And I think that in turn shows skill, and the point I'm trying to make, and just keep kind of going around it, is I really felt for the first time like everything paid off. I felt like in this game, I realised I've gotten so much better at flying the F86 Saber. I have gotten so much better at flying 9.0 jets and transonic aircraft, and I felt like in this match, for the first time in the longest time, I actually improved. I realised, I looked back and said, well, a year ago I couldn't have done this. If you'd have put me in this plane, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I would not have been able to pull off this match and get this engagement. And it's just a nice feeling to have, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. And hopefully I didn't sound like a pretentious arsehole, because I really hate because I'm not amazing. It's hard to kind of, I think praising myself is something I've always struggled with, but I'm out of time. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.